Hello everyone, welcome to a new process video. I am doing 6x8 pocket pages and I'm working on my photos from a trip I took during the summer, and right now I am in Salzburg. That's where these photos are from. So this was our arrival at the train station. We took the train from Munich, Germany into Salzburg, and so you can kind of see I have some photos here of coming out of the train station. So this is going up and out. This is what we saw on the outside as we were waiting for a taxi. This is actually the facade of our hotel. And then I have a card I've already picked out and it has taxis on it. And that is because the main story of this page is our taxi ride. It was horrible. First of all, we had looked at the map and from what we could determine, it seemed like our hotel was further from the train station than it actually was. So when we got our cab, we get in and the guy first is upset that we've asked him to take us because he's like, you could walk. This isn't that far. Shame on you, effectively. And we're just like, okay, well, whatever. We're in a foreign country. We're just going to be polite. It's fine. Then, however, he asked us where we were from. We said we were American. We spent the entire rest of the ride being berated for being American and hearing about all the awful things that Americans have done for years, whatever, and just that we were bad people because we were American. And I've never ever had that happen in any other place where I've traveled. This is the first time it has happened. And part of me wanted to say, you're a jerk, throw money at him and get out and walk the rest of the way then. But I thought, you know what, that's only going to reinforce the stereotype that he had about us. And so I was as polite as possible. I paid him and I tipped him extremely well. And I said, thank you for the service that you've provided. And we got out. And then, we vented to ourselves about what a jerk he was. But it certainly could have set a bad tone for our time in Salzburg. And I just wanted to tell the story here on this card, but still have beautiful photos. And, at least get the story out and then let it go. Kind of say, yep, it happened, but we had a great time the rest of the time we were in Salzburg, and we didn't let that episode color what we thought of the city and the other people that we met. So sorry for that long-winded story there, but it was an interesting experience, and I definitely want to make sure that it gets into this album. As far as what I'm doing here, this is all I have planned. I have no other embellishments picked out or plans or anything. So we'll just see what happens as I work with the photos. I do have two here, so I'm going to have a flip, which means I also need another card in between here. I do not have that picked out yet. So that's another thing that I have to work in here. So we'll start with that and just see where it takes us. So looking at all of this, I do have kind of a pink theme going on. There's a pink background here. And the front of the hotel, this side anyway, was pink. So I have pulled out some of my travel-related pocket cards. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I sort these by color. So I kind of do a multicolor first, and then I go in order of the colors of the rainbow. So if I just go to the pink section here, I can see if any of these will work. And I know I have like 3 more of these because this was a big piece of paper and I just cut it down. But I'm wondering if any of these will work. Hidden treasures. Yeah, I don't think I'd say that about that taxi ride. That's a little too bright pink. I like this one, but it's another journaling card, and I don't know that I need 2 of those. I want this one for sure because it actually says conversation. I'm going to have to write small, though, to fit all that in there. Amazing things. That doesn't fit for that ride either. I will try anything once. I don't know. No, maybe this one. It just shows arrows. Maybe. Because then I could just do like an embellishment on there. That might work. My bags are packed. I have 2 of those apparently. There's the other piece of that. Let's go. Well, I did want to jump out of the vehicle. But I don't think I need to put that card in there. That's a little too coral. It's not really pink. Now we're getting into the coral and then the orange. Nope. So I think it's going to be this one, and I'll just have to put some fun stuff on it to make it work. I pulled out some embellishments that I have. You can kind of see a pile going over here. I keep lots of things in pouches, and so this was just my pouch of kind of miscellaneous bits and bobs that are travel themed. And one of the things I found in there was this. It has a car, could be a taxi, doesn't show that it is necessarily, but you could believe it maybe. And it says a long way from home. And I think that would be perfect with the story that I'm going to tell. And so I probably will just do this, maybe add a washi strip or something behind it. But I think that's kind of fitting that I felt very much away from home, very alienated at that time because of what happened during this ride. And so I think it's fitting for the story. So I think I'm gonna go with that. So I have this washi and it looks like tire tracks. And it's black, and there's black in several of the other photos, so I think this will work. My only issue is it's a little wide, so it almost covers this whole thing behind it, but I'm going to try a strip and just see what I think of it. All right, so I'm testing this out just to see what it would look like, and I think it'll be okay. It is pretty wide, but the points of the piece have enough where this isn't covering them behind it that I think it'll be okay. So I am going to use this one. So I'm going to attach that, and this is the glue that I always use when I use wood veneer. So it's made by Tombow. So if you're looking for something that will work well, this is a great option. It dries clear, so if you get a little too much on, it's not a big deal because it looks white at first, but when it dries, it's clear, so nobody will know. So while that is drying, I want to go into my phrases, and I separate these by color. So in this bag, I have red, pink, yellow, and orange. So in that color group, I want to see if I can find something maybe pink. Could be light pink, dark pink. I'm open, just so that it kind of blends in these, because this you won't see. It's going to be behind the flip, so you won't know it's there until you flip it up. So I think I want something on the front, and there is some dead space here that I could work with. So I'm going to see what I have in here that might be an appropriate phrase. So I was going through all my phrases here, and I found this one. I was considering this, the one that says expedition, but it's a little more choral. I came across this one, and it says a trip we will never forget. Well, that's for darn sure. But I don't want that plane on there, so I think I'm going to use it, but cut off the airplane and just use this part, because it would look like that, which I think is very doable for this particular spread. So I think that's my plan. All right, so I attached that, cut off the excess, and just put in a mini staple, and I really like it. It's very light because the writing is in white ink, but I think when you're flipping through, somebody who's looking at it, they will be able to read it. They'll take a few seconds, they'll see that there's some font there, and they'll read it. So I think that's good. This should be dry now, so this will go underneath. Then I have this in back. I have some dead space here that makes me want to stamp there, maybe, or put something there, but I don't want to put on too much either. This is quite busy, as is this background. So I'm debating on what to do there, and I think I need a little bit more time. So I'm going to go off camera, see what I think about it, and then I'll come back. So I had everything laid out like this, but I think I'm going to make a change. When I went into more of my stuff to see what I could do with this, I pulled out this little package of labels I have, and they all have a map theme on them in different colors. This one actually has a little pink in there. So I thought, oh, that'll work. But I don't like these next to each other because I have an element here and then an element right here. But if I switch these, put the conversation up there, keep this pattern paper here and move this down with a label, that I like. So I'm going to go with this configuration, and I probably will stamp something going sort of the sideways look and then staple it on there. I'm not sure what that phrase is, so I need to go look through my stamps and find something. I went through all of my travel stamps first, and I didn't find anything that wowed me. So then I kind of just went into my miscellaneous stamps, and I had 2 different sets I knew that had phrases like, oh crap, or ugh, or what, things that indicate that you've had a bad day. Even those didn't feel quite right with everything else I had, but I found this stamp set in there, and I like this one down here that says incident report, and I think I'm going to use it like so. I'm going to put it sideways like this. I'm not going to use this bottom line. I think I'm just going to do that, and then I'll cut off the excess to fit, but so that you'll see it says incident report and it goes more with the theme. So I did my stamping and I love the way it looks. I'm glad I didn't choose to do the bottom part of it, so that's just perfect. I can cut off the rest, it'll be fine. So I am going to attach it here. Let's make sure I have it the right way. Okay, so I just want the bottom. And I think about like so. That looks pretty even, I think. Check it from the back. Yeah, it might be a hair off, but close enough. And then I can get my scissors here. My phone cord was tied up in it. All right, and we're just going to trim off the excess here, like so. There we go. Perfect, that's what it looks like. And then I think I want a little staple in there, right here, kind of in the middle. No, did it get stuck in there? Why do I always have these problems? It seems like whenever I decide to staple on camera, something happens with my dang stapler. So I have to, yeah, I can't just pull it out of there. So I've got to open this up and figure out what happened and then how to fix it. So it turns out that was the last staple I had in there. And for whatever reason, it just went a little wonky. So I've refilled it. Let's do a test, shall we? Before I do that again. All right, perfect. So I'm just going to try to use the hole that was made before, or as close as possible. There, yay, all better. So now I've got that. So I think the only thing I have left to do is if I maybe want to add something to this, but I'm not sure what that would be. I don't want it to be too busy. And then to put on the pocket, or not the pocket, the photo flip. So I have attached the flip here, and one thing about the way I do flips is that I don't like anything wrapping over the top pocket. I want to have access, so I do not attach mine to the top. I attach them to the bottom or middle, as the case may be, so that I can do that. So some people might like to flip up. Mine actually flip down, and I prefer it that way, but you can do it any way you like. The other thing that when I was looking at this that I noticed was this felt a little blank. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Heidi Color Shine. I have this one, which is blush. So it's going to give that pink tone to it. And I want just a little bit around the edges. All right, so I did the Heidi Color Shine on there. And it's kind of hard to see, I think, now that it's behind the page protector, but there is some on there, and in real life it shows up a lot better. So it's just a little bit around the borders. It won't impede anything that I'm going to write on here, which is great, because sometimes if you get too much on there, you try to write, it doesn't write well over the splatters. So that's why I wanted to keep it at the border, and I think I did that. So here's the finished layout with the flip. I think it looks great. I'm happy with it. And here is another layout ready for Salzburg. Thanks for watching, everyone.